Okay, so today we're going to break down a piece of political commentary that, wow, really doesn't pull any punches. It builds this entire case to label a political party with one single word, crazy. So how exactly does the argument get there? Let's dive in.
And it all kicks off with this, a direct, three-word accusation. Think of this statement as the final destination. The commentary we're looking at, well, that's the roadmap. So let's trace the steps the speaker takes to get to this very pointed conclusion. All right, first things first, let's really get to the foundation of this argument. What is the core idea being built here? So, the whole point here, the central thesis, is that the Democratic Party's actions, they aren't just wrong or misguided. In the speaker's own words, they're insane. The rest of the commentary is basically designed to build a case for that exact claim. The argument really gets going with a big piece of evidence, and it's tied to a foreign policy event. Specifically, it's all about the reaction to the death of the Iranian leader, and that's used to launch the main critique. And this is where the speaker uses a rhetorical question to kind of frame the whole debate. The accusation is that Democrats are trying to recast this figure, someone she sees as an enemy, as some kind of hero. And you can really see on this slide the huge contrast the speaker is trying to create. I mean, on one side you have her description, a bad, bad man, evil, someone who slaughtered tens of thousands. But then on the other side you have the view she's pinning on Democrats, that he was a really great guy and, get this, his death was a loss for humanity. Now, to really build this case, the speaker argues that this isn't just a one-off thing. No, she says it's part of a consistent and pretty troubling pattern of behavior. And to show this pattern, she brings up other examples. The claim is that Democrats have defended certain criminals, calling them just suburban dads or innocent. She even brings up an alleged failure to show empathy for American victims of the October 7th attacks, tying it directly to their identity. Okay, so if that's the what, the action she's pointing to, then the next obvious question is, why? What's the motivation here, according to the speaker? And boom, here it is, laid out crystal clear. The speaker isn't just critiquing actions, she's assigning a motive. And that motive is rooted in what she calls a cascade of hate. This slide really breaks down that chain of logic for us. According to the speaker, it all starts with hating former President Trump. From there, she argues, that hate expands to include Israel. And then, the final step, it becomes a hatred for America itself. So, all of this builds up to the final section. This is where the speaker delivers her big conclusion, bringing the whole argument right back to where it started. And she doesn't just state her opinion again. To give it some real weight, she first brings in a voice she sees as an authority on the subject, someone to validate her whole perspective. And yup, that authority is former President Trump. By quoting him saying, "These people are crazy," she's basically aligning her verdict with his. It's a way of saying, hey, this isn't just me, a former president thinks so too. Right after quoting Trump, she does something interesting. She makes a little rhetorical shift. She frames herself as an outsider, which positions her own final judgment as the sort of objective observation from someone on the outside looking in. And here it is, the final punch. It's a direct address where she personally repeats that core accusation, speaking right to the audience, doubling down on the labels crazy and insane. This is really the climax of her whole argument. So, you might be asking, what's the big deal? Why does this all matter? Well, the speaker claims the ultimate result of all this is a weaker America. Her whole line of reasoning is that a country is actually made stronger by having a strong opposition. And what she's describing here is, in her view, not a strong opposition, but an insane one. And that leaves us with a really crucial final thought. The language we've just been looking at, it's really powerful, it's absolute, so it kind of makes you wonder, right? What is the intended impact of using labels like crazy or evil in political arguments? Is the goal to actually persuade people, or is it to polarize them? Or maybe it's something else entirely?